Mr. Bella. Hey, Mr. Bella, this is Paul Cundiff here and Kevin, our mechanic. And what we wanted to do was get your engine, the water out of your engine, and it's actually already started to form rust on the cam.
I can Scotch-Brite it.
Yeah,
that'd be all right.
And well, we've got the laser we can use now too. We can actually clean that rust off, burn that rust off with the laser. And you see some rust starting to happen right here as well. So we
move fast.
I think Taylor talked to you about going ahead and dismantling it and getting all of, if this was an engine that had sunk, and then what we would be doing is we would be changing the oil and running it, and changing the oil and running it some more, and changing the oil and running it, and that procedure in order to get all of the water out of it. And we would then kind of run it after we've done that 3 or 4 times. Then we would run it long enough that if there was any water that we'd missed, that we would evaporate the water out.
It would evaporate. We'd burn it out.
Yep. And so it was imperative that we get the transmission out, because the lowest point in your engine assembly is this bearing. It's on the output shaft of the transmission. So, and we didn't have to replace that either. Curiously, the other you got. Oh, that's your pilot bearing. Yeah, that would be a bad one to have too. But the lowest point in the whole assembly, which is where the water is going to go to, is this bearing right behind here. And it's not an expensive bearing. It's just expensive getting to it. And then, it's not even all that bad getting to it. But you can see rust was already starting to form also on your drum there that's got your planetary gears on the inside. So
I gotta get it all cleaned up.
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. So, and did you have that one to the parts washer yet?
Nope.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll get that one in the parts washer. The other thing that I discovered was whoever put this together did not know that the end of your crankshaft here is supposed to be drilled. We have and then the bolt is supposed to be drilled, and the bolt that holds this gear on was not drilled, and that is supposed to shoot oil into your transmission. So if the engine hadn't frozen and broken, externally and internally, the problem that would have arisen was that your transmission would have locked up, because it didn't have. It didn't have. I don't know if you ran this engine a lot. There may be some damage to the transmission that's going to just reduce its life. But I know it was running fine when we took it back to you, and you used it some, apparently, according to Taylor, and then it just didn't get winterized this last season. So anyhow, that's the story of the update on your engine. We're planning on taking this to our rebuilder, and we've thought about just getting another block and having him having our rebuilder, because he's got 4 engines right now. Well, no, he's got 3. This will be number 4. So we thought about just getting another block and transplanting the crank, and assembling this back. But what we don't know is, right now we don't know if there's any cracks in the heads. So we need to take the heads to them and have them magnafluxed. We need to have the crank magnafluxed to make sure that all of our inputs, and also I suppose we'd probably do the cam, and have all of our inputs checked, and make sure that there are no cracks. And then once we determine that, then we would decide which way we're going. This block had been 4 30 thousandths over, and all the parts in this block were for a 30 thousandths over block. So we can check piston clearance and all that kind of stuff. Might be able to reuse the pistons, perhaps. But a whole master rebuild kit's like $3,000. So rather than really, we ought to just start clean, in my opinion, rather than try to get cheap on that. Because even if you saved half of your money, you're only saving $1,500, and you might be opening you would be opening yourself up to a no warranty situation. So I think we should just go do a valve job, do a MagnaFlux, do a valve job, do the complete rebuild. It's a shame.
I mean, I get the crank out and save the crank.
Yeah.
If there's any scarring from the water,
Right.
I mean, it could be polished.
Correct.
And if need
And
be,
another set of bearings. Go up
maybe one unders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, depending on what they polish it to, one unders or two unders.
Yep.
And you don't have to turn the crank.
Right. So anyway, that's the latest on this. I'm going to need to, we've already spent a little money on this, obviously. I'm going to need to invoice you for an advance, and we'll get this, we'll get us caught up and have some money to work with to find another block, and because we'll still have to find another block. So we'll have some money to work with on that, and then we'll get this off to the machine shop, get the MagnaFlexing taken care of, and like I said, the advance will be some seed money for that. So I appreciate your time and listening to this, and we'll talk to you soon.